Blessed be Yahuwah who daily loads us with his benefits, the Elohim of our salvation, the source of our strength, the Elohim that teaches us true wisdom out of his divine law for our good. Hallelujah. Please forgive the pronunciation of some of the words, because it is an AI that reads to you. Shalom be to you, beloved ones of the Most High Elohim. Note, in my videos I use the translation of certain names because I know not everyone knows the Hebrew terms and meaning of words. While I use the transliteration of our Creator and His Son and certain other words, because it breaks the commandments, or because of pagan influence and its meaning. May Yahuwah continue to strengthen you and guide you through the struggles of life that we may be overcomers to rejoice in His splendor. The Ascension of Yashar'al, or better known as Isaiah. Chapter 1. In the 26th year of the reign of Hezekiah king of Judah summoned Manasseh his son, for he was his only son. And he summoned him in the presence of Isaiah the son of Amos the prophet, and in the presence of Joseph the son of Isaiah, in order to deliver unto him the words of righteousness which the king himself had seen, and the words concerning the eternal judgments, and the torments of Gehenna, and the prince of this world, and his Malachim, angels, and his authorities and his powers, and the words concerning faith in the beloved which he himself had seen in the 15th year of his reign during his sickness. And he handed to him the written words which Samnas the scribe had written out, and also those which Isaiah the son of Amos had given to him, and to the prophets also, that they might write out and store up with him what he himself had seen in the house of the king, concerning the judgment of the Malachim, and concerning the destruction of this world, and concerning the garments of the saints, and their going out, and concerning their transformation, and the persecution and ascension of the beloved. In the 20th year of the reign of Hezekiah, Isaiah had seen the words of this prophecy, and had handed them to Joseph his son. And while Hezekiah was giving his commands with Joseph the son of Isaiah standing by, Isaiah said to Hezekiah the king, but not in the presence of Manasseh, only to him did he say it. As Yahuwah lives, whose name has not been transmitted to this world, and as the beloved of my sovereign lives, and as the Spirit which speaks in me lives, all these commands, and these words will have no effect on Manasseh your son. And through the deeds of his hands, tormented in body, I will depart. And Samuel Malchura will serve Manasseh, and will do everything he wishes, and he will be a follower of Belial rather than of me. He will cause many in Jerusalem and Judah to desert the true faith, and Belial will dwell in Manasseh, and by his hands I will be sawed in half. And when Hezekiah heard these words, he wept very bitterly, and tore his garments, and threw earth on his head, and fell on his face. And Isaiah said to him, Samuel's plan against Manasseh is complete. There will be no benefit to you from this day. And Hezekiah resolved in his heart that he would kill Manasseh his son. But Isaiah said to Hezekiah, the beloved has made your plan ineffective, and the thought of your heart will not come about. For with this calling have I been called, and the inheritance of the beloved will I inherit. Chapter 2. And it came to pass after Hezekiah had died, and Manasseh became king, he did not remember the commands of Hezekiah his father, but forgot them, and Samuel dwelt in Manasseh, and clung closely to him. And Manasseh abandoned the service of the Elohim of his father, and he served Satan and his Malachim and his powers. And he turned aside his father's house, which had been in the presence of Hezekiah, away from the words of wisdom, and from the service of Yahuwah. And Manasseh turned aside his heart to serve Belial, for the Moloch, angel of lawlessness who rules this world, is Belial, whose name is Mittenbushus. And he rejoiced over Jerusalem because of Manasseh, and he strengthened him in causing treachery, and in the lawlessness which was dispersed in Jerusalem, and sorcery and magic, omen and divination. Fornication and adultery and the persecution of the righteous increased through Manasseh, and through Belchira, and through Tobiah the Canaanite, and through John of Anathoth, and through Zalek the chief of the works. And the rest of the acts, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Yashar'al, Israel. And when Isaiah the son of Amos saw the great lawlessness which was being committed in Jerusalem, and the worship of Satan and his wantonness, he withdrew from Jerusalem and dwelt in Bethlehem of Judah. And there also there was great lawlessness, and he withdrew from Bethlehem and dwelt on a mountain in a desert place. And Micah the prophet, and the aged Ananias and Joel, and Habakkuk and Joseph his son, and many of the faithful who believed in the ascension into heaven, withdrew and dwelt on the mountain. All of them were clothed in sackcloth, and all of them were prophets. And they had nothing with them, but were destitute, and they all lamented bitterly over the going astray of Yashar'al. And they had nothing to eat except wild herbs which they gathered from the mountains, and when they had cooked them, they ate them with Isaiah the prophet. And they dwelt on the mountains and on hills for 2 years of days. And after this, while they were in the desert, there was a certain man in Samaria named Belchira, of the family of Zedekiah the son of Chenaanah the false prophet, whose dwelling was in Bethlehem. Zedekiah the son of Chenaanah, who was the brother of his father, was the teacher in the days of Ahab king of Yashar'al, of the 400 prophets of Baal. And he struck and abused Micaiah, the son of Amminah the prophet. And Micaiah was abused by Ahab and was thrown into prison with Zedekiah the prophet. They were with Uzziah the son of Ahab king of Samaria. And Elijah the prophet from Tishbe in Gilead reproved Uzziah in Samaria, and he prophesied concerning Uzziah that he would die on his bed of sickness. And Samaria would be given into the hand of Shalmaneser, because he had killed the prophets of Yahuwah. And when the false prophets who were with Uzziah the son of Ahab and their teacher Jalarias from Mount Joel heard, now he was a brother of Zedekiah, when they heard, they persuaded Uzziah the king of Agaran and killed Micaiah. Chapter 3. And Belchira discovered and saw the place of Isaiah and of the prophets who were with him. For he himself dwelt in the district of Bethlehem, and he was a follower of Manasseh. And he prophesied lies in Jerusalem, and there were many from Jerusalem who joined with him, but he himself was from Samaria. And it came about when Shalmaneser the king of Assyria came and captured Samaria, and took the 9.5 tribes into captivity, and led them to the provinces of the Medes, and the rivers of Gozan. This Belchira, while still a youth, escaped and came to Jerusalem in the days of Hezekiah king of Judah. But he did not walk in the ways of his Samaritan father, because he feared Hezekiah. And he was found in the days of Hezekiah speaking words of lawlessness in Jerusalem. And the servants of Hezekiah accused him, and he escaped to the district of Bethlehem, and persuaded. And Belchira accused Isaiah and the prophets who were with him, saying, Isaiah and the prophets who are with him prophesy against Jerusalem and against the cities of Judah that they will be laid waste, and also against Benjamin that it will go into captivity, and also against you, O sovereign king, that you will go bound with hooks and chains of iron. But they prophesy lies against Yashar'al and Judah. And Isaiah himself has said, I see more than Moses the prophet. But Moses said, there is no man who can see Yahuwah and live. But Isaiah has said, I have seen Yahuwah, and behold I live. Know therefore, O king, that they are false prophets. And he has called Jerusalem Sodom, and the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, he has declared to be the people of Gomorrah. And he brought many accusations against Isaiah and the prophets before Manasseh. But Belial dwelt in the heart of Manasseh, and in the heart of the princes of Judah and Benjamin, and of the eunuchs, and of the king's counselors. And the words of Belchira pleased him very much, and he sent and seized Isaiah. For Belial was very angry with Isaiah because of the vision, and because of the exposure with which he had exposed Samuel. And that through him it had been revealed the coming of the beloved from the 7th heaven, and his transformation, and his descent, and the form into which he must be transformed, namely, the form of a man, and the persecution with which he would be persecuted, and the torments with which the children of Yashar'al must torment him, and the coming of the 12 disciples, and the teaching, and that before the Sabbath he must be crucified on a tree. and be crucified with wicked men, and that he would be buried in a sepulchre. And the 12 who were with him would be offended at him, and the guards who would guard the sepulchre. And the descent of the Moloch, angel of the assembly which is in the heavens, whom he will summon in the last days. And that the Moloch of the set-apart spirit, and Michael, the chief of the set-apart Malachim, angels, will open his sepulchre on the third day. And the beloved, sitting on their shoulders, will come forth, and send out his 12 disciples. And they will teach all nations, and every tongue the resurrection of the beloved. And those who believe in his stake will be saved, and in his ascension to the seventh heaven from where he came. And that many who believe in him will speak through the set-apart Spirit. And there will be many signs and miracles in those days. And afterwards, at his approach, his disciples will abandon the teaching of the 12 apostles, and their faith, and their love, and their purity. And there will be much contention at his coming and at his approach. And in those days there will be many who will love office, although lacking wisdom. And there will be many lawless elders and shepherds who wrong their sheep. And they will be ravaged because they do not have set-apart shepherds. And many will exchange the splendor of the garments of the saints for the garments of those who love money. And there will be much respect of persons in those days, and lovers of the splendor of this world. And there will be many slanderers and much pridefulness at the approach of the Master, and the set-apart Spirit will withdraw from many. And in those days there will not be many prophets, nor those who speak reliable words, except one here and there in different places, because of the spirit of error and of fornication and of pridefulness, and of the love of money, which shall be among those who are said to be servants of that one, and among those who receive that one. And among the shepherds and the elders there will be great hatred towards one another. For there will be great jealousy in the last days, for everyone will speak whatever pleases him in his own eyes. And they will make of none effect the prophecy of the prophets, who were before me. And my visions also they will make of none effect, in order that they may speak what bursts out of their heart. Chapter 4. Now therefore, Hezekiah and Joseph my son, these are the days of the completion of the world. And after it has been brought to completion, Belial will descend, the great Moloch, the king of this world, which he has ruled ever since it existed. He will descend from his firmament in the form of a man, a king of lawlessness, a murderer of his mother. This is the king of this world. And will persecute the plant which the 12 apostles of the beloved have planted. Some of the 12 will be given into his hands. This Moloch, Belial, will come in the form of that king, and with him will come all the powers of this world, and they will obey him in every wish. By his word, he will cause the sun to rise at night, and the moon also he will make to appear at the 6th hour. And he will do everything he wishes in the world. He will act and speak like the beloved, and will say, I am Elohim, and before me there has been none. And all men in the world will believe in him. They will sacrifice to him and will serve him, saying, This is Elohim, and besides him there is no other. And the majority of those who have been associated together to receive the beloved, he will turn aside after him. And the power of his miracles will be in every city and district. And he will set up his image before him in every city. And he will rule for 3 years and 7 months and 27 days. And many faithful and saints, when they saw him for whom they were hoping, who was crucified, Yahushua the Master Messiah, after Isaiah had seen him who was crucified and ascended. And those who believed in him, of these few will be left in those days as his servants, fleeing from desert to desert as they await the coming of the beloved. And after 1,332 days the beloved will come with his Malachim and with the hosts of the set-apart ones from the 7th heaven, with the splendor of the 7th heaven, and will drag Belial and his hosts also into Gehenna. And he will give rest to the righteous whom he finds in the body in this world, but the sun will be ashamed. And to all who because of their faith in him have cursed Belial and his kings. But the saints will come with the beloved with their garments which are stored up in the 7th heaven. With the beloved will come those whose spirits are clothed, they will descend and be present in the world. And he will strengthen those who are found in the body, together with the saints in the garments of the saints, and will minister to those who have kept watch in this world. And after this they will be turned in their garments upwards, and their body will be left in the world. Then the voice of the Beloved will reprove in anger the things of heaven, and the things of earth, and the mountains, and the hills, and the cities, and the desert, and the trees, and the Moloch of the sun, and that of the moon, and everywhere that Belial has appeared, and acted openly in this world. There will be a resurrection and a judgment in their midst in those days. And the Beloved will cause fire to rise from him, and it will consume all the unrighteous. And they will become as if they had not been created. And the rest of the words of the vision are written in the vision of Babylon. And the rest of the vision about the Beloved, behold, it is written in parables in the words of mine that are written in the book which I prophesied openly. And the descent of the Beloved into Sheol, behold, it is written in the section where Yahuwah says, Behold, my son shall understand. And all these things, behold, they are written in the Psalms, in the parables of David the son of Jesse, and in the proverbs of Solomon his son, and in the words of Korah and of Ethan the Yashar'al Israelite, and in the words of Asaph, and in the rest of the Psalms, which the Moloch of the Spirit has inspired, namely in those which have no name written, and in the words of Amos my father, and of Hosea the prophet, and of Micah, and of Joel, and of Nahum, and of Jonah, and of Obadiah, and of Habakkuk, and of Haggai, and of Zephaniah, and of Zechariah, and of Malachi, and in the words of the righteous Joseph, and in the words of Daniel. Chapter 5. On account of these visions therefore Belial was angry with Isaiah, and he dwelt in the heart of Manasseh, and he sawed Isaiah in half with a wood saw. And while Isaiah was being sawed in half, his accuser Belchira stood by, and all the false prophets stood by laughing and rejoicing because of Isaiah. And Belchira, through Machembekis, stood before Isaiah, laughing and mocking. And Belchira said to Isaiah, Say, I have lied in everything I have spoken. The ways of Manasseh are good and right. And also ways of Belchira, and those who are with him are good. And he said this to him when he began to be sawed in half. But Isaiah was absorbed in a vision of Yahuwah, and though his eyes were open he saw them not. And Belchira spoke thus to Isaiah, Say what I say to you, and I will turn their heart and make Manasseh, and the princes of Judah, and the people, and all Jerusalem worship you. And Isaiah answered and said, If it is within my power to say, Damned, and accursed be you, and all your hosts, and all your house. For there is nothing further that you can take except the skin of my body. And they seized Isaiah the son of Amos, and sawed him in half with a wood saw. And Manasseh, and Belchira, and the false prophets, and the princes, and the people, and all stood by looking on. And to the prophets who were with him, he said before he was sawed in half, Go to the district of Tyre and Sidon, because for me alone Yahuwah has mixed the cup. And while Isaiah was being sawed in half, he did not cry out or weep, but his mouth spoke with the set-apart spirit until he was sawed in two. Belial did this to Isaiah through Belchira, and through Manasseh. For Samuel was very angry with Isaiah from the days of Hezekiah, king of Judah, because of the things which he had seen concerning the Beloved, and because of the destruction of Samuel, which he had seen through Yahuwah, while Hezekiah his father was king. And he did according to the will of Satan. Chapter 6. In the 20th year of the reign of Hezekiah, king of Judah, Isaiah the son of Amos and Joseph the son of Isaiah came to Hezekiah in Jerusalem from Gilgal. And he sat on the couch of the king, and they brought a seat for him, but he would not sit on it. And when Isaiah began to speak with Hezekiah the king, the words of faith and righteousness, all the princes of Yashar'al were sitting there, and the eunuchs, and the king's counselors. And there were there 40 prophets, and sons of the prophets. They had come from the neighboring districts, and from the mountains, and from the country. When they had heard that Isaiah was coming from Gilgal to Hezekiah, they came that they might greet him, and that they might hear his words, and that he might lay his hand on them, and that they might prophesy, and that he might hear their prophecy, and they were all in the presence of Isaiah. And when Isaiah spoke with Hezekiah the words of righteousness and faith, they all heard a door being opened, and the voice of the set-apart spirit. And the king summoned all the prophets, and all the people who were to be found there, and they came. And Micah, and the aged Ananias, and Joel and Joseph were sitting on his right. And when they all heard the voice of the set-apart Spirit, they all worshipped on their knees. And they praised the Elohim of righteousness, the Most High, the one who dwells in the upper world, and who sits on high. The set-apart one, the one who rests among the set-apart ones. And they ascribed splendor to the one who had thus favorably bestowed a door in an alien world, had favorably given it to a man. And while he was speaking with the set-apart Spirit in the hearing of all, he became silent, and his mind was taken up from him. And he did not see the men who were standing before him. His eyes indeed were open, but his mouth was silent, and the mind in his body was taken up from him. But his breath was still in him, for he was seeing a vision. And the Malach, who was sent to show him the vision, was not of this firmament, nor was he from the Malachim of splendor of this world, but he came from the seventh heaven. And the people who were standing by, apart from the circle of prophets, did not think that the set-apart Isaiah had been taken up. And the vision which he saw was not from this world, but from the world which is hidden from flesh. And after Isaiah had seen this vision, he recounted it to Hezekiah and to Joseph his son, and to the other prophets who had come. But the officials, and the eunuchs, and the people did not hear, but only Samnas the scribe, and Jehoiakim, and Asaph the recorder. For they were doers of righteousness, and the sweet fragrance of the Spirit was in them. But the people did not hear, for Micah and Joseph his son had sent them out when the wisdom of this world was taken from him as if he were dead. Chapter 7. The vision which Isaiah saw, he told to Hezekiah and to Joseph his son and to Micah, and to the other prophets, and said, When I prophesied in accordance with the message which you have heard, I saw a splendid Malach. His splendor was not like the splendor of the Malachim which I always used to see. But he had great splendor and an office, such that I cannot describe the splendor of this Malach. And I saw when he took hold of me by my hand, and I said to him, Who are you? And what is your name? And where are you taking me up? For strength had been given to me that I might speak with him. And he said to me, When I have taken you up through all the stages, and have shown you the vision, on account of which I was sent, then you will understand who I am, but my name you will not know. For you have to return into this body. But where I take you up, you will see, because for this purpose I was sent. And I rejoiced because he spoke to me with kindness. And he said to me, Do you rejoice because I have spoken kindly to you? And he said, You will see one greater than me, how he will speak kindly and gently with you. And the Father of the one who is greater, you will also see, because for this purpose I was sent from the seventh heaven, that I might make all this clear to you. And we went up into the firmament, I and he, and there I saw Samael and his hosts. And there was a great struggle in it, and the words of Satan, and they were envying one another. And as above, so also on earth, for the likeness of what is in the firmament is here on earth. And I said to the Malach, What is this envying? And he said to me, So it has been ever since this world existed until now. And this struggle will last until the one comes whom you are to see, and he will destroy him. And after this he took me up above the firmament, this is the first heaven. There I saw a throne in the middle, and on the right, and on the left of it there were Malachim. And the Malachim on the left were not like the Malachim who stood on the right, but those who stood on the right had more splendor, and they all sang praises with one voice. And the throne was in the middle, and it they praised, and those on the left after them. But their voice was not like the voice of those on the right, nor their praise like the praise of those on the right. And I asked the Malach who led me, and said to him, To whom is this praise directed? And he said to me, To the praise of the one who sits in the seventh heaven, the one who rests in the set-apart world, and to his beloved from where I was sent to you. To there it is directed. And again, he took me up into the second heaven, and the height of that heaven is like that from heaven to earth, and to the firmament. And I saw there, as in the first heaven, Malachim on the right, and on the left, and a throne in the middle. And the praise of the Malachim who were in the second heaven, and the one who sat on the throne in the second heaven had more splendor than all the rest. And there was great splendor in the second heaven, and their praise was not like the praise of those who were in the first heaven. And I fell on my face to worship him, and the Moloch who led me would not let me, but said to me, Worship neither throne, nor Moloch from the sixth heaven from where I was sent to lead you, before I tell you in the seventh heaven. For above all the heaven, and their Molochim is placed your throne, and also your garments and your crown, which you are to see. And I rejoiced with great joy that those who love the Most High and his beloved will at their end go up there through the Moloch of the set-apart spirit. And he took me up into the third heaven, and in the same way I saw those who were on the right, and on the left. And there also was a throne in the middle, and the one who sat on it, but no mention of this world was made there. And I said to the Moloch who was with me, for the splendor of my face was being transformed as I went up from heaven to heaven. Nothing of the vanity of that world is named here. And he answered me, saying, Nothing is named because of its weakness, but nothing is hidden which is done there. And I wished to find out how it is known, and he answered me, saying, When I have taken you up into the seventh heaven from where I was sent to the one which is above these, then you will know that nothing is hidden from the thrones, and those who dwell in the heavens, nor from the Molochim. And the praises which they sang, and the splendor of the one who sat on the throne were great. And the Molochim who were on the right and on the left had more splendor than those in the heavens which was below them. And again he took me up into the fourth heaven, and the height from the third to the fourth heaven was greater than from the earth to the firmament. And there I again saw those who were on the right, and those who were on the left, and they one who sat on the throne was in the middle, and there also they were singing praises. And the praise and splendor of the Molochim on the right was greater than that of those on the left. And again the splendor of the one who sat on the throne was greater than that of the Molochim who were on the right, but their splendor was greater than that of those below. And he took me up into the fifth heaven. And again I saw those who were on the right and the left, and the one who sat on the throne had more splendor than those of the fourth heaven. And the splendor of those who were on the right was greater than that of those who were on the left. The splendor of the one on the throne was greater than that of the Molochim who were on the right. But their praise was more splendid than that of the fourth heaven. And I praised the one who is not named and is unique, who dwells in the heavens, whose name is unknown to all flesh. The one who has given such splendor to the different heavens, who makes the splendor of the Molochim great, and the splendor of the one who sits on the throne even greater. Chapter 8. And again, he took me up into the air of the sixth heaven, and I saw a splendor such as I had not seen in the five heavens as I went up. The Molochim possessed great splendor, and the praise there was set apart and wonderful. And I said to the Moloch who led me, What is this which I see, my master? And he said to me, I am not your master, but your companion. And again I asked him, and I said to him, Why are there not comparable groups of Molochim? And he said to me, From the sixth heaven and upwards there are no longer those on the left, nor is there a throne placed in the middle, but they are directed by the power of the seventh heaven, where the one who is not named dwells, and his chosen one, whose name is unknown, and none of the heavens can learn his name. For it is he alone to whose voice all the heavens and thrones answer. I therefore have been empowered, and sent to bring you up here that you may see this splendor, and that you may see Yahuwah of all these heavens and of these thrones, being transformed until he resembles your appearance and your likeness. But I say to you, Isaiah, that no man who has to return into a body of that world has come up or seen, or understood what you have seen, and what you are to see. For you are appointed in the lot of Yahuwah, the lot of the tree, to come here, and from there is the power of the sixth heaven and of the air. And I magnified the greatness of my Elohim with praise, that through his lot I should come here. And he said to me, Hear then this also from your companion, when from the body by the will of Yahuwah you have come up here. Then you will receive the garment which you will see, and also other numbered garments laid up there you will see. And then you will be equal to the Molochim who are in the seventh heaven. And he took me up into the sixth heaven, and there were none on the left, nor a throne in the middle, but all were of one appearance, and their praise was equal. And strength was given to me, And I also sang praises with them, and that Moloch also, and our praise was like theirs. And there they all named the Ancient of Days and his beloved, the Messiah and the set-apart Spirit, all with one voice. But it was not like the voice of the Malachim, who were in the 5 heavens. Nor was it like their speech, but there was a different voice there, and there was much light there. And then when I was in the 6th heaven, I thought that light which I had seen in the 5 heavens to be but darkness. And I rejoiced and praised the one who has favorably bestowed such light to those who await his promise. And I entreated the Moloch who led me that from then on I should not return to the world of flesh. Indeed I say to you, Hezekiah and Joseph, my son, and Micah, that there is much darkness here. And the Moloch who led me knew what I thought and said to me, if you rejoice over this light, how much more will you rejoice in the 7th heaven when you see the light where Yahuwah is and his beloved from where I was sent? Who is to be called in the world the Son? He who is to be in the corruptible world has not yet been revealed, nor the garments, nor the thrones, nor the crowns which are laid up for the righteous. For those who believe in the beloved, who will descend in your form. For the light which is there is great and wonderful. But as regards you not returning into the body, your days are not yet complete for coming here. And when I heard this, I was sad, and he said to me, do not be sad. Chapter 9. And he led me into the air of the 7th heaven, and moreover I heard a voice saying, how far is he who dwells among flesh to go up? And I was afraid and was trembling. And when I trembled, behold, I heard from there another voice being sent forth and saying, the set-apart Isaiah is permitted to come up here, for his garment is here. And I asked the Moloch who was with me and said, who is the one who prevented me, and who is this one who turned to me that I might go up? And he said to me, the one who prevented you, this is the one who is in charge of the praise of the 6th heaven. And the one who turned to you, this is your master, the master who is to be called in the world Yahushua the Messiah. But you cannot hear his name until you have ascended out of your body. And he took me up into the 7th heaven, and there I saw a wonderful light, and also Malachim without number. And there I saw all the righteous from the time of Adam onwards. And there I saw the set-apart Abel and all the righteous. And there I saw Enoch and all who were with him, stripped of their garments of the flesh. And I saw them in their garments of above, and they were like the Malachim who stand there in great splendor. But they were not sitting on their thrones, nor were there crowns of splendor on them. And I asked the Moloch who was with me, how is it that they have received these garments, but are not on their thrones nor in their crowns? And he said to me, they do not receive the crowns and thrones of splendor. Nevertheless, they do not see and know whose will be the thrones, and whose the crowns, until the beloved descends in the form in which you will see him descend. The Master will indeed descend into the world in the last days, he who is to be called the Messiah. After he has descended, and become like you in form, and they will think that he is flesh and a man. And the mighty one of that world will stretch out his hand against the sun. And they will lay their hands upon him and hang him upon a tree, not knowing who he is. And thus his descent, as you will see, will be concealed even from the heavens, so that it will not be known who he is. And when he has plundered the Moloch of death, he will rise on the 3rd day, and will remain in that world for 545 days. And then many of the righteous will ascend with him whose spirits do not receive their garments until the Master ascends, and they ascend with him. Then indeed they will receive their garments, and their thrones and their crowns, when he has ascended into the 7th heaven. And I said to what I had asked him in the 3rd heaven, show me how everything which is done in that world is made known here. And while I was still speaking to him, behold, one of the Malachim who were standing by, more splendid than that Moloch who had brought me up from the world, showed me some books, but not like the books of this world. And he opened them, and the books had writing in them, but not like the books of this world. And they were given to me, and I read them, and behold, the deeds of the children of Yashar'al were written there, their deeds which you know, my son Joseph. And I said, truly, nothing which is done in this world is hidden in the 7th heaven. And I saw many garments laid up, and many thrones and many crowns. And I said to the Moloch who led me, whose are these garments and thrones and crowns? And he said to me, as for these garments, there are many from that world who will receive them through believing in the words of that one, who will be named as I have told you, and they will keep them and believe in them and believe in his stake, for them are these laid up. And I saw one standing there whose splendor surpassed that of all, and his splendor was great and wonderful. And when they saw him, all the righteous whom I had seen, and the Malachim came to him. And Adam and Abel and Seth, and all the righteous approached first and worshipped him. And they all praised him with one voice, and I also was singing praises with them, and my praise was like theirs. And then all the Malachim approached and worshipped and sang praises. And I was transformed, and became like an Moloch. And then the Moloch, who led me, said to me, worship this one, and I worshipped and sang praises. And the Moloch said to me, this is the master of all the praise which you have seen. And while I was still speaking, I saw another splendid one who was like him, and the righteous approached him and worshipped, and sang praises, and I also sang praises with them. But my splendor was not transformed into accordance with their form. And then the Malachim approached and worshipped him. And I saw the master and the second Moloch, and they were standing. And the second one whom I saw was on the left of my master. And I asked the Moloch who led me and said to him, who is this one? And he said to me, worship him, for this is the Moloch of the set-apart spirit who has spoken in you, and also in the other righteous. And I saw the great splendor while the eyes of my spirit were open. But I could not thereafter see nor the Moloch who was with me, nor any of the Malachim whom I had seen worship my master. But I saw the righteous as they beheld with great power the splendor of that one. And my master approached me, and the Moloch of the spirit, and said, see how it has been given to you to see Yahuwah, and because of you power has been given to the Moloch who is with you. And I saw how my master and the Moloch of the set-apart spirit worshipped, and both together praised Yahuwah. And then all the righteous approached and worshipped. And the Malachim approached and worshipped, and all the Malachim sang praises. Chapter 10. And then I heard the voices and the hymns of praise which I had heard in each of the sixth heaven, which I had heard as I ascended there. And all the voices and hymns of praise were directed to that splendid one whose splendor I could not see. And I also heard and saw the praise which was directed to him. And the master and the Moloch of the spirit heard everything and saw everything. And all the praise which was sent up from the sixth heaven was not only heard, but seen. And I heard the Moloch who led me, and he said to me, this is the Most High of the High Ones, who dwells in the set-apart world, who rests among the set-apart ones, who will be called by the set-apart Spirit in the mouth of the righteous, the Father of the mighty ones. And I heard the voice of the Most High, the Father of my master, as he said to my master the Messiah, who will be called Yahusha, go out and descend through all the heavens. You shall descend through the firmament and through that world as far as the Moloch who is in Sheol, but you shall not go as far as perdition. And you shall make your likeness like that of all who are in the five heavens. And you shall be careful to make your form like that of the Malachim of the firmament, and also like that of the Malachim who are in Sheol. And none of the Malachim of that world shall know that you are the beloved with me of the seven heavens and of their Malachim. And they shall not know that you are with me, till with the voice of the heavens I summon you, and their Malachim and their lights. And when I lift up my voice to the sixth heaven, that you may judge and destroy the princes and the Malachim and the mighty ones of that world, and the world which is ruled by them. For they have denied me and said, we alone are, and there is no one besides us. And afterwards you shall ascend from the mighty ones of death to your place. And you shall not be transformed in each of the heavens, but in splendor you shall ascend and sit at my right hand. And then the princes and the powers of that world will worship you. These commands I heard the great splendor giving to my master. And thus I saw when my master went out from the seventh heaven into the sixth heaven. And the Moloch who led me from this world was with me, and he said to me, understand, Isaiah, and look, that you may see the transformation and descent of the beloved. And I looked, and when the Malachim who were in the sixth heaven saw him, they praised him and esteemed him, for he had not been transformed into the form of the Malachim there. And they praised him, and I also sang praises with them. And I saw when he descended into the fifth heaven that in the fifth heaven he made his form like that of the Malachim there, and they did not praise him for his form was like theirs. And then he descended into the fourth heaven, and made his form like that of the Malachim there. And when they saw him, they did not praise him or esteemed him for his form was like their form. And again I saw when he descended into the third heaven that he made his form like that of the Malachim who were in the third heaven. And those who kept the gate of the third heaven demanded the password, and the Beloved gave it to them in order that he should not be recognized. And when they saw him, they did not praise him or esteemed him for his form was like their form. And again I saw when he descended into the second heaven that there again he gave the password, for those who kept the gates demanded it, and the Beloved gave it. And I saw when he made his form like that of the Malachim who were in the second heaven that they saw him, but did not praise him for his form was like their form. And again I saw when he descended into the first heaven that there he gave the password to those who kept the gates. And he made his form like that of the Malachim, who were on the left of that throne. And they did not praise him or esteemed him for his form was like their form. And as for me, no one questioned me because of the Moloch, who led me. And again he descended into the firmament where the prince of this world dwells, and he gave the password to those who were on the left, and his form was like theirs. And they did not praise him there, but in envy they were fighting one another, for here there is a power of evil and envying about trifles. And I saw when he descended, and made himself like the Malachim of the air, that he was like one of them. And he did not give the password, for they were plundering and doing violence to one another. Chapter 11. And after this I looked, and the Moloch who led me spoke to me and said, Understand, Isaiah son of Amos, for this purpose I was sent from Yahuwah. And I saw a woman of the family of David the prophet, whose name was Mary. And she was a virgin, and was betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph a carpenter. And he also was of the seed and family of the righteous David of Bethlehem in Judah. And he came into his lot. And when she was betrothed, she was found to be pregnant, and Joseph, the carpenter, wished to divorce her. But the Moloch of the Spirit appeared in this world, and after this Joseph did not divorce Mary, but he did not reveal this matter to anyone. And he did not approach Mary, but kept her as a set-apart virgin, although she was pregnant. And he did not live with her for 2 months. And after 2 months of days, while Joseph was in his house, and Mary his wife, but both alone, it came about when they were alone that Mary then looked with her eyes and saw a small infant, and she was astounded. And after her astonishment had worn off, her womb was found as it was at first, before she had conceived. And when her husband, Joseph, said to her, What has made you astounded? His eyes were opened, and he saw the infant and praised Yahuwah, because into his lot Yahuwah had come. And a voice came to them, Do not tell this vision to anyone. But the story about the infant was spread abroad in Bethlehem. Some said, The Virgin Mary has given birth before she has been married 2 months. But many said, She did not give birth, the midwife did not go up to her, and we did not hear any cries of pain. And they were all blinded concerning him, they all knew about him, but they did not know from where he was. And they took him and went to Nazareth in Galilee. And I saw, O Hezekiah and Joseph my son, and say to the other prophets also who are standing by, that it was hidden from all the heavens, and all the princes, and every mighty ones of this world. And I saw that in Nazareth he sucked the breast like an infant, as was customary that he might not be recognized. And when he had grown up, he performed great signs and miracles in the land of Yashar'al and in Jerusalem. And after this the adversary envied him and roused the children of Yashar'al against him, not knowing who he was. And they handed him to the ruler, and crucified him, and he descended to the Moloch who is in Sheol. In Jerusalem, indeed, I saw how they crucified him on a tree. And likewise how after the 3rd day he rose and remained many days. And the Moloch, who led me, said to me, Understand, Isaiah. And I saw when he sent out the 12 disciples and ascended. And I saw him, and he was in the firmament, but was not transformed into their form. And all the Malachim of the firmament, and Satan, saw him and worshipped. And there was much sorrow there as they said, How did our master descend upon us, and we did not notice the splendor which was upon him, which we now see was upon him from the sixth heaven? And he ascended into the second heaven, and he was not transformed, but all the Malachim who were on the right, and on the left, and the throne in the middle, worshipped him and praised him and said, How did our master remain hidden from us as he descended, and we did not notice? And in the same way he ascended into the third heaven, and in the same way they praised him and spoke. And in the fourth heaven, and also in the fifth they spoke in exactly the same way. But there was one splendor, and from it he was not transformed. And I saw when he ascended into the sixth heaven that they worshipped him and praised him. But in all the heavens the praise grew louder. And I saw how he ascended into the seventh heaven, and all the righteous and all the Malachim praised him. And then I saw that he sat down at the right hand of that great splendor, whose splendor I told you I could not behold. And also I saw that the Malach of the set-apart spirit sat on the left. And this Malach said to me, Isaiah, son of Amos, it is enough for you. For these are great things, for you have seen what no one born of flesh has seen. And you shall return into your garment of the flesh until your days are complete, then you shall come here. These things I saw. And Isaiah told them to all those who were standing before him, and they sang praises. And he spoke to Hezekiah the king and said, These things I have spoken. And the end of this world, and all this vision, will be brought about in the last generation. And Isaiah made him swear that he would not tell this to the people of Yashar'al, and that he would not allow any man to copy these words. And then they shall read them. But as for you, be in the set-apart spirit, that you may receive your garments, and the thrones and crowns of splendor, which are placed in the seventh heaven. Because of these visions and prophecies, Satan sawed Isaiah the son of Amos, the prophet, in half by the hand of Manasseh. And Hezekiah gave all these things to Manasseh in the 26th year of his reign. But Manasseh did not remember these things, nor place them in his heart, but he became a servant of Satan and was destroyed. Here ends the book of Isaiah the prophet with his ascension. Blessed are they that submit themselves to the will of Yahuwah and guard it with all of their heart. For they shall see his face with joy and not in sorrow. Hallelujah.